Episode 8 connection. Warning, this episode contains stuff. I took a timid step forward, Priya, and asked cautiously, "What do you want from me?" "What do I want?" "For someone to talk to me, to explain what's going on. I'm cold and terribly scared." I looked in surprise at the pale, bruised woman who seemed to be so assertive during our first meeting, and now she looked completely lost. The last thing I remember is my husband's crazy eyes, full of anger. He squeezed my throat, demanding that I continue to serve men and give him money. No one could help me. His family just watched in silence as he squandered all the dowry honestly paid by my parents. And then he beat me. Everyone was just smiling, pretending it was the right thing to do. Mother, father, brothers, it doesn't matter what happens to me. What matters is that I bring them money. I've lived in this hell for so many years. I let them use me, tolerated it all. In the end, I was killed anyway. When the forest burns, everyone sees it. When your soul is burning, no one can see. I am so sorry. You didn't deserve this. I'm sure you'll be luckier in the next life. Yes, they deserve to be punished. Help me. You listened to me today, even though you were hurrying to get to work. So there is good in you after all. But what can I do for you? You were considerate, she is grateful to. Lend me your body for an hour. I'll do everything myself. What? My body? What do you want to do with it? Kill them? Girl, don't compare me to them. I'll just scare them. I'm not as ruthless as they are. But why me? I'm telling you, you're glowing. You're attracting attention. There was another one glowing, but he didn't let me approach him and immediately chased me away. Who was it? So handsome and so elegant. His eyes were like two gems. Amrit. Well, actually, Grant might be, but Mr. Dubé? Yes, that's right, it was him. Gained rage. Oh, and kindness. Did he chase you away? So, Amrit sees ghosts in Bahoots too. That's not a surprise. He comes from a Brahmin family, after all. He has been performing all the rituals in Kalagat since his father put him in charge. But he looked at me like I was a pest when he chased me away. But you're different. Help me scare all these bastards. I promise no one will know it was you. They really were cruel and were ruthless to you. And I know perfectly well what happens to murdered people whose souls are full of anger. Yes. Help me take my revenge, and Lata and I will always be on your side. She also suffered because of this family. You know, YOLO, you can take my body. As long as it's not for a long time, and no one will find out that I was involved. Thank you. No one will know, I promise. You can throw me out at any time. I'm going to have so much fun today. But why didn't you just possess me? Or is it impossible? I couldn't. There's a protective energy around you. I couldn't even touch you. Ratan's Mendi is working. Well, shall we start? Yes, fine. Priya slowly approached me. Looking straight into my eyes, she smiled, holding out her hand to me. I touched her. A light flashed. I could physically feel something foreign slowly infusing my whole body. Someone else's feelings, personality, soul. I knew I had the power to push it out of myself, but I held back and let Priya take the lead. I couldn't see everything that was going on. I peeked, but Priya quickly took back control. I lost track of time. I didn't know how long she had been inside me and where we were going. At some point, I was overwhelmed with one feeling: anger. I was in Calcutta slum, the place where I had been before. I was walking barefoot on the damp ground. I was breathing heavy, deeply. Even if angry, Priya knew what she was doing. It was cold outside, but her anger warmed us both. I heard a scream. "Who is it? Who can be at this time of night? Get the hell out!" "Ah! Ah! Ah!" Scream full of terror. "Yakshit! Was it you screaming? Yakshit! Ah! Ah!" Both men were pressed against the wall, their eyes wide open, their faces smeared with blood, were twisted in fear. My hands were getting hot. "Why are you both screaming? God, what happened to you? You're so pale." I heard their mother's worried voice. She turned her head in our direction. "Ah!" Priya laughed, and I felt how happy she was right at that moment. A terrible rattling sound escaped my throat. There was something wet, warm, dripping on my fingers. "You will be cursed until your dying day. The goddess will not forgive you. Atone for your sins, please her, or you will rot alive. So be it otherwise. You're all going to be arrested. You will be cursed by the goddess." I'm gonna go with goddess. "And you won't like her rage." The last thing I heard was 3 people crying and bitterly begging. My face! I'm sorry, goddess." When I opened my eyes, we were already back in my bedroom. I was laying on the bed. Priya, having left my body, was standing in a dark corner again. Thank you. How great was my pleasure. Now they won't hurt anyone else. I won't forget your kindness." Now you can count on Priya and Lada's help in the future. The woman took a step back into the shadows. "It's time for me to go to Madiva Rita Shiva. Call us if you need us, Amala. I'm in your debt." Priya slowly faded into the darkness. Feeling exhausted, I went to wash up. It was only in the bathroom that I noticed someone else's blood stuck under my nails. She didn't kill them, as promised, but she did something to them. Leaning back on the bed, I closed my eyes. Why am I like a beacon for the dead? It's understandable in Amrit's case. He's a descendant of the Brahmins. My strength quickly left me, and I fell asleep. I woke up early the next morning. The floor of my room was covered in dirty footprints, my footprints. Yesterday I walked in the slums and back barefoot. I need to wash the floor and take a bath quickly. We'll ignore the footprints that I'm sure are downstairs. I spent half an hour on that. Time to get dressed. Diamonds! The center of attention. A wealthy woman. An ordinary girl. I don't know. I guess we'll go with the center of attention. Wealthy girl. Yeah, it's nice and all, but it's like super expensive. I'd rather tie my hair. The weather's warm. I don't want you to tie your hair. The weather's fine. Neatly styled, incredibly beauty. And yet that's not tying your hair. I'm just saying. I'm good. Now, I could go down to breakfast. No, you can't. Not until I change your hair back. I'm serious. Mr. Khan was sitting at the table. Priyanka was arranging the plates. Good morning, Amala. Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Kahan. We haven't seen you at all lately. Now that Killian is here, I hope we'll see you more often. Where is he, by the way? Have you seen him? The boy is sleeping. He must be still jet-lagged. I'm going to serve breakfast now so we don't have to wait for him. And where's the cook? I had to send her to clean the floors. Someone walked through all the corridors with dirty feet yesterday. Shoes were invented for a reason. Yes. I looked down awkwardly. Horrified, I noticed that there was still dried blood underneath my nails. Nervous, even though I washed up last night, I immediately hid my hands underneath the table. Mrs. Kahan went to the kitchen. She's been so happy since Killian arrived. Thank you, Amola. I'm sorry for our disagreements. Any issues seem to vanish when your loved one is happy. Aryan watched his wife leave the room with fondness in his eyes. I realized that the man was in a sentimental mood that morning. He seems well disposed. I should clear things up with him. No hard feelings. We just grew up in different cultures. We can't agree on everything. I'm not angry at all. That's good. Respect. Yay. It makes me want to sing when Meredith smiles like that. She must have sinned a great sin in her previous life, since in this one she is unable to have children, even though she adores them. She told me. Everything? No, probably not, but I can listen. If it's a burden on your heart. No, it's a burden on her heart. And I'm just sad that she's unhappy. I left everything for her, Amola. Everything. I lost my mind when I first saw Priyanka, young, beautiful, so clever. Her laughter filled me with joy. Her gaze made me weak in my knees, waiting for this beauty to glance at me again. I lived in Delhi, as did my whole family, and Priyanka's family lived here in Calcutta. She didn't want to leave, so I had to move for the sake of my beloved. Over all those years, has your love not faded? Not even a bit? Of course not. My love for her only grows with each passing day. Believe me, Mary Dale only gets better with age. You can talk to her about everything. She's an intelligent, educated woman. Such people used to be shunned. Unfortunately. But it's so important to be able to discuss something with your wife. Miss Kahan told me that the lack of children did not push you away from her. She seems happy to be your wife. The information will be useful in the future. Alas, she alone is everything and enough for me to be happy, but Priyanka has always wanted children. She tried everything, but it didn't work. It was a lot to put on a young woman's shoulders. I supported her as much as I could. She didn't even want to live at some point. Oh. That's why she always has been happy to take care of the children of all of our good friends. Now she will gladly take care of Kieran. Path of independence. You should be proud of having a love that conquered all challenges. Maybe this is a worthy replacement for motherhood, which Miss Kahan is deprived of. Many people have children, but such strong love is not given to every couple. I'd also like to be with someone supportive in the future. Thank you for your kind words, Amola. A few moments later, Priyanka came back to serve breakfast. I had just finished my meal when the phone rang. It was Killian who invited me and Lima for a walk. He wanted to talk about something, and I saw no reason to refuse. Karen had just come down to breakfast. Are you going to work already? Not quite, but I'm also not sure if it'll be a work meeting. Then can I come with? Why not? Yes. If you behave yourself. The streets of Calcutta can be crowded and dangerous. Okay. But you ought to keep quiet about everything you might hear during our meeting. Is that clear? Yes. Shortly after, we left the house. We arrived at the address Lightwood gave me and found ourselves in a secluded and picturesque place next to a pond. When Karen and I reached the meeting point, Lima and Killian were already waiting for us there. They were surprised to see my younger brother with me. "You're not alone?" "I thought that since it's not really a work meeting, I could introduce you. Karen, meet Killian Lightwood. My friend. If only you knew how many times he helped me out." Nice to meet you, and thanks for looking out for Mala." They shook hands. "It's nice to meet you, too. Keeping up with your sister's a hell of a job." Killian narrowed his eyes at me. "I know exactly what you mean." "This is Lima Berg. Killian is glad you introduced him as your friend. My friend. She helped me out so many times. I like working with her. If only we could have been more than friends, but I digress. With either one of them, I'm just saying." "It's nice to meet you, Karen." "It's nice to meet you, too. You're very pretty." Uh-oh. "Here." "What? I thought being honest was a good thing." "It can be, but you should think about finishing school first and complimenting girls later." I agree with that. "Hey, I'll be out of school soon enough." Lima laughed loudly. Karen blushed. "Lima is glad you introduced her as your friend." We strolled along the sidewalk. "Amala, are you going somewhere after our meeting?" "Sorry if I'm being nosy." "Yes, why?" "You look lovely. Are you planning to impress someone?" "Only you, guys." "Then you've succeeded. Now let's talk about work. I feel bad after what happened in Clipagrami. I think I owe you both an apology." "An apology?" "Yes, to you and Amala. I had a lot of suspicions in Calcutta. Everything's so confusing and complicated. It messes my head up. I keep imagining different scenarios, even the scary and impossible ones." "Like what?" "Like you being actually involved in the murders. I'm sorry that I blamed you for it and let my emotions get the better of me. You must have been confused and scared as well." "Yes. It was unpleasant. I felt lonely." "How come are you apologizing all of a sudden?" "Because while suspecting everyone around me, I kept some secrets myself." "The ones that Vaish was talking about, right?" "Yes. Have you seen him since then?" "Should I tell them that I'm in touch with Rattan?" "Yes. We've seen each other a couple times. We talked about some things." "Where did you meet?" "I can't tell you, but I know for a fact that he's not responsible for the murders." "How can you be so sure?" "Killian, he helped us in that village, and you're still doubting him?" "I don't know yet. I need to talk to him directly." "What secrets are you talking about?" "The real reason for the diplomat's visit to India. I trust you, so I'm ready to disclose classified information." Lightwood glanced briefly at Kieran. "Kier, could you please go get us some ice cream?" "What? We were just getting to the good stuff. And you told me not to leave your side." "The ice cream stand is over there. I can see it. I'll be watching." We looked at each other for a few moments. Eventually, my brother gave up and trudged towards where I was pointing. "Go ahead. Don't spare any details." "We've already used 100 diamonds. Why not more?" Sorry. I want to know everything. As we all know, India has been a British colony for a long time, and it gained its independence relatively recently, in 1947. 33 years ago. And? When the British Empire invaded India, it started imposing its own rules, some of which went against the local culture. For example, a strict ban on all sacrifices. The locals resisted so much that they went deep into the forest looking for any caves, hiding places, or hidden canyons, or any other places where they could keep serving their gods. Some also continued practicing the sati rite. Yeah, that's murder too. Anyway, discussing the restoration of independence with India, the British proposed to make a secret pact. It contained a set of provisions that India was obliged to follow in the years after gaining sovereignty. What were these provisions? There were different ones, ranging from economic agreements like a ban on trade with some particular countries, to a total ban on any rituals, which included sacrifices. I'm sure you'll all agree those are absolutely unacceptable. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, they're sacrificing bad people, I'm sorry, but, I'm just saying. These are India's internal affairs. If a country gains independence, it has its right to set its own rules. But a country that's been controlled by another for decades cannot suddenly go back to deciding things on its own. Have you met America and how we give everyone democracy and then suddenly leave them? Okay, I'm gonna shut up now, I'm just saying. What? You're wrong. The pact was made. Both countries agreed. India became anonymous. But diplomats got involved from time to time when issues arose. For example, in 1952, several people in Calcutta reported their relatives missing. Some of those were later found decapitated in the forest several miles away from the city. The British government left some of their officers here on a semi-permanent basis to keep things in check. They were based in Delhi, Bombay, and Calcutta. They recorded statements about missing people, but after a while, no more bodies were found. If there were no more bodies, then there was no longer evidence of a violation of the agreements. That's right. Therefore, after a while, those diplomats were sent back. Until a few months ago, when 2 cases of ritual murders became widely known. Mr. Hayes came to Calcutta to establish whether there had been a violation of the agreement. This information will be very useful in the future. So, you knew from the very beginning that there was more than one victim, and it was connected with rituals? Yes. I tried to direct the investigation in that direction. But blame me for doing the same. It was not the same. We were following different trails. Was the British government this concerned only about the ban on sacrifices? No, it's just that I was assigned to a particular case and potentially dangerous one. Hayes is dead, I know that for sure. Vaish told me so. I wonder how he knows it. He wouldn't give me the details, but suggested that I ask Mr. Dubé. Amrit? So this case could be solved soon? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Amala, are you going to find out the details from him? Yes, today, but you can't pressure him. He's not that kind of person. We have to outsmart him or rely on a mutually beneficial exchange. Well, of course. I should have guessed it. Here comes a plan. Karen came up to us, barely able to hold 4 cups of ice cream. Who wants which? Everyone immediately exchanged expressions, pretending to smile. Can I have mint? Of course. I'll take chocolate. And I'll take whatever's left. Taking her ice cream, we fell into silence. So, you're gonna get close to that person? Lima tried to be subtle with her question, referring to my meeting with Dubé. She didn't want to involve Kieran in her plans. Yes, I'll try to find out everything we need. Why are you talking in riddles? I don't care for your secrets. And I'm interested to know yours. For example, do you have a girlfriend? Oh yeah, I got a little thing going on. Ooh, tell me. And yet you were flirting with Lima. Bad. My brother began to describe a girl named Yasmin. She's also, very pretty, so how can I not look at her? We slowly approached an outdoor cafe. Oh, coffee. Killian, can you give me some advice? Should I confess to her? Don't bother him, Kier. Is there nothing else for you to do? It's fine, I'm happy to chat. We took a table and quickly made an order. Karen, his usual social butterfly, happily chatted with Lima and Killian, who also seemed to be amused by the conversation. On my part, I was enjoying the warm and friendly atmosphere. It was getting late. I told them that I had another meeting ahead of me. Killian offered to accompany Kieran home. Lima glanced at Killian briefly, blushing a little. And I'll go back to the hotel. He caught her eye and suddenly asked, Maybe you'd like to come with us. I'm sure Kieran will be happy. Kieran or you? The 3 of you go. It would be too hard for one person to endure Kier's endless chatter. If you share the burden, it'll be easier. Haha, you're so funny, Amala. Lima didn't pay attention to our bickering. She and Killian just stared at each other for a few moments. Thanks to you and Lima, Killian will spend some time together. This could mark the beginning of their relationship. I thought we already were establishing that. Fine, let's go together. Great. The three of them said goodbye to me and went to get a taxi. We'll have to talk to them about it. Why do you need to talk to them about their personal relationship with one another? A little while later, I was walking towards the Caliga temple. It was busy again. Making my way through the crowd, I accidentally spotted a familiar figure. Hey, it's Rattan. Is he really here? Changed direction, walking towards him. He stared at me, clearly waiting for me to reach him. When I got closer, he smiled. Good evening, Amala. What are you doing here? Waiting for you. You're going to see Dubé, aren't you? Yes, you appeared out of nowhere again. You said you weren't following me. How do you find me every time? I feel you, just as those creatures do. We have little more than 5 senses. Be careful with Dubé. Don't play with him, and don't make him mad. Today is a special day. The temple is closed until noon tomorrow. Amrit is in a strange mood. Closed? For some kind of night ritual, is it? Yes. Doesn't it happen once a month? Durja Puja is around the corner. If a Brahmin descendant feels that more energy is needed, he'll go to take this energy. When I ask you not to make him angry, trust me, I'm being serious. Your words about energy no longer seem quite as cryptic. Having fun, you shouldn't. Are you worried about me? Isn't it obvious? I brought you to Kolkata. If it was, as it was my duty, I had to. But it doesn't mean that I really wanted you here or wanted you to be in any kind of trouble. You have the right to decide for yourself. I just want to protect the gentle soul who has not yet realized where she ended up. But there are situations where I can't help you. Shekhar is standing at the entrance. He will let you through. Rattan bowed slightly as he usually did and disappeared into the crowd. He even knows Dubé's men. As the sun dipped behind the horizon and the sky turned pink, I found myself standing near the temple gardens. The man guarding the entrance nodded to me. Come in. Mr. Dubé is waiting for you. Thanks. I smiled at him. Passing an arch overgrown with ivy, I found myself in the garden. Amrit was standing with his back to me, admiring the landscape. He barely turned around, narrowed his eyes. Ah, here you are, just in time. Sitting down on an already familiar bench, Amrit patted the spot next to him. I sat down. What did you want to talk to me about? Did Vaish ask you to be careful again? You know each other pretty well, don't you? Yes, and we have for a long time. I'm also aware of his nature. One could even say I'm aware of everything. My diva Rita Shiva is kind to me and to Calcutta. He's here for our benefit. And why would Mahadeva bring me to Calcutta, do you know? He smiled. You talk about it so calmly, even light-hearted. Aren't you scared by divinity, Amala? Should I be? What do you feel when you think about it? Fear? Awe? No. No. Connection. We'll just go with connection. It draws me in, it's calling me, you know? Yes, I understand perfectly. And will you respond to that call? Well, first I want to understand where I'm being drawn to. Dubé thought for a few moments and looked straight at me. It wasn't Rattan who wanted you to come here. He was against it, but had to keep his promise. All the time you've been here, Baish has been trying to send you back to London. Who did he promise to? And what exactly was it all about? Not so quickly, Amala. I'm not interested in giving you information. Do you know what happened to our diplomat? Yes, he was beheaded, and his body was hidden. It was necessary to get your task force to come here. Isn't it strange? The bodies of previous victims have been found, but not his. I slowly got up from the bench. I suddenly felt scared. So where is he? Where's the diplomat? Amrit also got to his feet. He's probably in the garden. Oh, no. That's not how it works, I told you. If you want anything from me, you have to get me interested. A favor for a favor. Give me your hand. I don't want to. Without waiting for permission, he gently touched my hand. I flinched a little, feeling the already familiar warmth mixed with a slight discomfort washing over me. I tried to resist, to keep him out of my head, but when I touched Amrit, my blood started pumping in my veins. What is it? Where does this come from? Connection. Didn't you guess we are connected? He lowered his voice. You and I. Wherever you try to get away or run, all paths will lead you to me. I doubted it. I was watching you. I didn't believe it at first, but recently I saw it with my own eyes. Is that why you called me to this garden to tell me about this? To open your eyes, precious Amola. Like a blind kitten, you keep nudging the wrong places. But I see everything clearly. You are not indifferent to me. You are mistaken, Mr. Dubé. Is it so? I jerked back, about to turn around and leave. I'm sick of this. I'm here for work. Are you so eager to find this diplomat, or are you looking for your own answers? Tell me where he is. Where is his body? Come closer and I'll tell you. I sighed heavily, but stepped towards him. He gave me a satisfied look, but didn't touch me. Well done. He brought his hand closer to me. He didn't even have to touch me. The very proximity of his skin was enough for the warmth to arise again inside me. 55 diamonds! Fine. Jesus, that's expensive. You finally gave up. No, I'm piqued curiosity at this point for 55 diamonds. Mr. Dubé gently ran his fingers from my wrist to my shoulder. It was light, weightless touch, but it gave me goosebumps. Amrit noticed it and grinned, getting even closer to me. You like this? It's just cold here. The man stepped behind me and carefully brushed my hair away from my neck. I didn't move, waiting for what he'd do next. I felt his chest near my back. He was so close to me that I could feel his breath on my skin. You can be obedient after all. How surprising. I always try to cooperate with you. You have no reason to complain. Yes, but I've heard a lot about you. The man's hand slid over my waist, weightlessly. Oh look, it's the diamond outfit that we didn't even buy. I'm sorry. Oh no. I tensed up, not knowing what to expect. Now I felt his warm breath on my skin, the smell of his tart chocolate mixed with baked cherries. The closer I am to you, the stronger this feeling inside us becomes. Yes. It grows with proximity as if it wants to bring us together. How do you know that what it wants? I'll show you. With a quick movement, Amrit pressed gently against his chest, hugging me from behind. His hand now moved freely over my hips. It was so arrogant and domineering I could easily turn around and slap him for being so impertinent, but I let him do everything he wanted. I didn't push his hand away, nor did I move. I didn't know why. We barely knew each other after all. I didn't have the courage to admit it to myself, but I wanted it all. And I wanted more. His lips touched my bare neck, where he pushed aside my hair. Softly, carefully, so sensually. My heart fluttered, and the warmth inside me flared up with renewed vigor. All my attention narrowed down to one small place on my body where his lips were now. He kissed my neck once, twice, 3 times, and slid higher, grazing my chin. He then whispered in my ear, "Do you feel anything?" With his other hand, he gently turned my face towards him. Our eyes met. Heat. It is setting you on fire, making you open up to me. It was inevitable. I could still leave if I wanted to. Leave, then? He gave me a few moments to get out of his arms and really walk away. But I didn't. And Amrit understood everything perfectly. The next moment, he kissed me longingly on my lips. He didn't hesitate, he wasn't shy, he kissed me as if he had been waiting to do so for a very long time. He did so openly, passionately. Everything inside me turned upside down, and the warmth overwhelmed my whole body. A moan escaped my lips, such an intense as was the pleasure his kiss gave me. His hand wandered over the curves of my body, eventually stopping on my neck, squeezing it just slightly. You kissed for the first time. You were strongly attracted to each other. I like the artwork. Also, our tattoos are supposed to be white, not black. I'm just saying, when this intoxicating feeling waned, I finally was able to turn around and step away from him. I glanced at him from under my brows. Did you drug me with something? Don't look for excuses. You wanted to kiss me, and that's what you did. Where is he? In the southern forest near the mouth of the river. You'll have to search carefully. Are you telling me the truth? God, are we gonna find the body and it'll all be over with? He shifted his gaze to the sky as if trying to guess the time. You'll find out soon enough. I have to go. I have duties to see to. Think about everything I told you. The man said goodbye to me, heading to one of the back doors leading to the temple. I watched him go. What did just happen? It was like I wasn't myself. I didn't think with my head, but with my instincts. I'm just so incredibly attracted to him. If we really turn out to be enemies, what should I do then? He went to perform that night ritual. He acted strangely today. There's no denying that he must have done a lot of questionable things. If we find the body, it will be a direct proof of his guilt. But what will he do in the temple while I'm in the garden and haven't left the restricted area? I think I have a chance to at least get a glimpse of what's going on in there. Even if they catch me, they won't kill me. Dubé needs me for some reason. My plan formed quickly, and as usual, I was in no hurry to dismiss it. I wanted to get into the temple and see everything with my own eyes. I give it a 4. Seems a little rushed. Just a tad, just a hair. 2 independence, 3 loyalty, 31, 31, 3 respect. I'm looking at the 51, and then I was trying to read the 3. Don't at me. 1 rage, and 7 kindness. 10 diamonds. So, I'll just say this. Thank you all for watching. Please remember that if you did enjoy, to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description, plenty of things to check out. There are ways to support, and also there's the join and thanks feature on YouTube. With that being said, I just want to make this clear. Pretty much just for some of you who may care, and then I'm sure a lot of you don't, but, someone brought up that, you know, hey, there's playthroughs and wikis and all this stuff that you can use, and, no thank you. So, pretty much, long story short, when I play any game, whether it be choices or really any game that I upload, stream, or whatnot, I do it live. Just like this video. I don't use voices, I don't use apps, I don't use walkthroughs, I don't do anything. I do everything just fresh, cut, no editing, no scripting, no nothing. So just keep that in mind. That's literally and figuratively how much effort I put into this and how much I want to put all of myself into the content that I do, and then kind of just be, how can I put it, surprised by what happens, or curiosity, like with choices, you know, in terms of what do you pick? Is option 1 through, 4, or how many ever they give you? It's having that kind of freedom, right? I know that some people prefer walkthroughs and playthroughs and things like that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I just wanted to make it clear that that's just the person who I am. Unless it's like puzzles, I'm really stumped or something, and typically that's on like a stream or something that I will do. Otherwise, I just play everything and just figure it out myself. So hopefully I'm doing well. Let me know in the comment section if you're like, hey man, you're doing okay, or wow, you're a little behind on this or something. I could be like, okay, well, I guess we'll see what'll happen. But otherwise, thanks again for watching. Catch you all later. Peace out.